Hello, hello, this is Paper Cuts Included, finally coming to you live from the Ninja Turtle sleeping blanket once again. And man, does it feel nostalgic to be filming from this thing again. If you're new to the channel, this is what we filmed 3 to 4 months worth of the first content on the channel on. So any video you see where this is the backdrop, you found an oldie but a goodie, hopefully. And so you might be wondering, I'm sure everyone is, well, what happened to that sleeping blanket? Why hadn't you been using it? Well, me and my not my artist, me and my wife are both working artists, and so we used the sleeping blanket as a tablecloth for our booths at the art markets. And when I'm filming this is January. Happy 2025, everyone. And so it's pretty cold where we're at. So that means art market's probably going to slow down till about March. So it means I can bust back this out for videos, and here we are. If you're new to the channel, this is a comic book YouTube channel ran by me and my co-host. We're both working artists who love comic books. We dream about becoming comic book artists, so we made this channel to talk about comic books. Comic books, comic book art, art in general, the artist. So what does that mean? Well, we'll look at books like this. We'll talk about the artist, who's Mobius. We'll talk about the history of the book, the history of the artist, what works, what might not work, the inspirations of the artist, how's this book translated, stuff like that. So if that's something you're interested in, stick around and watch to the end and hit that like if you actually like the video. That really helps us out. We've been doing so good lately. All the videos we've been posting have been breaking 40 views, which is crazy to me. I remember the last month we were doing this before we took a break. We were lucky if we hit 5. So to go from like 5 views to 40 in the first 48 hours, that's insane. And thank you everyone who's been part of that journey. To all the people I post to on Reddit, to all the people I post on my Instagram, thank you. Even if you only watched a couple seconds of the video, thank you. We couldn't get here without. And today is going to be a pickup video day. And what's a pickup video? A pickup is books I bought recently, and I talk about them. So it's not as much as a deep dive as other videos. It's more of a, oh, here's the book I bought. Here's why I bought it. Here's why I like it. And, we'll talk about it briefly. Stuff like that. So these are all from Hot Springs, a small little tourist town. And they have an amazing game exchange and comic book store called Steadfast Comics or Steadfast Games, something like that. It's a half game store, half comic book store. It is amazing. If you're in the Hot Springs area, definitely check them out. They have a great selection, great prices, and I always love going. It's the second time we'd ever been there, but all the comics I got were from the comic section. So it was a really cool way to dig, and some of the stuff I'm about to show you is from a game exchange that's up there. That it's a pretty cool game exchange. If you know what game exchange is, it's like a game pawn shop, I guess is the best way to describe it. So we're actually not going to start with this beautiful heavy metal. We're going to start with the other nerdy thing I'm into, that being Pokemon. Right? What, another nerdy thing for me to get into? I really like playing card games. They're fun. I'm trying to go for a complete Team Rocket set, and so I got the holographic Charizard, Dark Charizard. So I was really happy for that. I am 19 cards away from a complete Team Rocket set, but enough of that. The only non-comic thing I got besides that was this Ralph figure. I love the Muppets. I'm a big toy collector. I don't know if you can notice from all the props I use as registrations for the videos. This is a Palisades Ralph figure you could only get with the Backstage playset. So it's a little pricey, and I got them for $10. So anyone who knows Palisades or collects Palisades, send me some clovers in the comments, because that probably one of my luckiest finds. But now, after that, let's get into the books. Hopefully I haven't driven all my watchers away by talking about a Pokemon card and a Muppet figure. So first, I got this heavy metal, early heavy metal, the Mobius cover. Probably one of heavy metal's most famous covers. If you don't know who Jean Gerard Mobius is, he was this French artist and he is incredible. If you don't know who he is, definitely look him up. I'm not going to open the book too much because the spine's starting to tear a bit, and if you know heavy metals, you know the paper quality is not the greatest on them, unfortunately. But if you're looking for a way to get into European art or European comics, heavy metal's a really good bet. You have people like Mobius, for example, and they're cheaper. Like this book was $12, and it has some amazing stories. This is a Mobius cover, like I said. He was this amazing sci-fi. He's probably in the States more known for sci-fi art than anything. This is Azarak, who Azarak does what Azarak does, flying around this giant bird. Other notable things he did was the Inkle, which I'm currently reading right now. He helped work on Alien, you know, that one Alien movie. Facehuggers. And if you're into Western comics, my favorite book of his is called Blueberry. It's just a cowboy Western, and it's phenomenal. Definitely check it out. It's amazing. Here's your excuse to go look at Mobius. That's going to be it for Mobius because I don't want to just bore you by talking about it without looking at it. But let's talk about the art real quick. You know what makes Mobius really cool? His line weight is incredible. Like trying to reproduce that line weight, I can never figure out how he truly does it in the probably the 3 years I've been studying him. But he's very light with weight. He's very light with figures. He is a master of perspective. You know, atmospheric perspective, going back, getting fuzzy. That's an art term. Everything's not going to look the same. You know, it's just little lines to create that pattern in the cape. You know, it's incredible what he was able to do, and I haven't seen another artist that I would really compare him to. Unlike the next artist we're going to talk about, a new artist I found out about. I believe his name is Robert Delgado. Gada, I think Gatto. If I mispronounce it, let me know in the comments. I hate thinking I mispronounce people's names, but hey, I'm only an art student. Well, what do you expect? This is called The Age of Reptiles. I have fallen in love with this artist. I think he reminds me a lot of my favorite artist, Jeff Darrow, friend of Mobius, so it's all interconnected, you know? But if you just want a dinosaur book, here you go. If you were left salivating after Tyrant, because, you know, it's only 4 issues, get into some Age of Reptiles. There's not much more of it, but probably 20 issues or less. I know there's a couple series, like Age of Reptiles is 4 issues. There's one about Spinosaurus that's 4 issues. I don't know how much of it was in Dark Horse Presents that's original. I don't know if it was just an uncolored version of this. I don't know. Like, I've only known about this guy for like 2 weeks. So I was really stoked to find this book and look at it. So let's get into looking at it. Because I love dinosaur artwork, I love dinosaur comics, and there's not a whole lot of them. And I feel like his line weight and just how he draws the figures are very, very similar to Jeff Darrow. They're stiff, but they're not stiff. You know what I mean? It's a very stoic look to all his figures until there is action, and then it is very much, you know, fluid. But it's not stagnant, I would say. They're stoic, but not stagnant. What do I mean by that? Stagnant is it looks like they'll never move. Where stoic is you can close your eyes or squint them and you can see them moving, and but they look so powerful as a single piece. I think that means that Robert is probably a really, really good just artist in general. You know, probably doing great pinups, great, you know, just one page pieces. And let's see if we can find any, you know. And he didn't do the coloring, but the coloring is also really good in this book. You know, those reds mixing with that blue. Find a good colorist if you're not coloring yourself. A good colorist can make or break your book, or, you know, you coloring it yourself. One wrong color scheme can make your book look like some puke lime green slimer, you know, just something horrible. Um, but no, and it's a wordless comic, which is awesome. I love wordless comics. I dabble in them occasionally. I want to get better at it. So if you're also struggling with wordless comics, hey, here's a good book to read for it. Look at that character. This character's named Hades at the back of the book. Oh, not the back. There's a roll call of all the animals, all the dinosaurs. He named all of them. Isn't that crazy, naming all of them? naming this guy Hades. He's only in, I think, these first two panels. That's it. Boom, boom, boom. And I guess that. So 4 panels. That's all he is in the book. But what a great character, figure. Very noticeable. Like, I would believe this is a main character. Like, this guy's going to have a series on his own. He leads a gang of other carnivores. I would believe that. I think that's really, really cool and really important to keep in mind when learning about art is become that artist who can, create a figure that stands out, that really draws attention, that can, really sell a book. That's how you get people invested in your book. That's how you get people coming back to read your book. I want 100 issues of this dinosaur story. Where does this guy go after this? You know what I mean? So it's a phenomenal book. I really liked it. I own it physically now. I read it digitally at first, but definitely keep your eye out for this book. It's probably a quarter bin book. I got it for $2. Glad to pay $2. I'd pay a lot more for $2 than it because it's phenomenal art. It is I feel like different than some of the black and white books or not black and white, silent, because there is a lot of emotion in the characters. I don't know. I guess growing up, I thought a silent comic had to be a lot more serious. Almost like a Sin City. I guess that was the first silent comic I ever read. Was that Sin City book, the Silent Night, Deadly Night, or whatever that was called. So seeing all this emotion in one book that has no words in it, they're dinosaurs, they can't talk. it, it's really good. Oh, I guess he's in 5 panels. But no, again, definitely keep an eye out for this book. Keep an eye out for all this guy's artwork. All like everyone we talk about on this channel gets my seal of approval. So do it. And it's from Dark Horse, my favorite comic book company in the entire world. Dark Horse. Just some great art. Like, look at that coloring. Um, Coloring's awesome in this book too. If you like Primal, the Adult Swim show, check it out. It's similar theme. It's the real world. Animals die. Animals kill each other. Animals eat each other. It's not. They're not all going to become friends at the end of this book. Spoiler alert. Click to 20 seconds ahead if you want to read this book. The book ends with the last hope, the last egg, getting eaten by this random mammal. Perhaps symbolizing the age of reptiles is over. I don't know. I don't write books. I just draw books. But yeah, definitely keep this book out. This will probably be a under the microscope video soon, so I can talk about it more. I felt like I've rambled about just a little, but great. If you know any other good dinosaur books, let me know down in the comments. I always want to read them, but I feel like I can never find them. The greats being Steve Bissett's Tyrant. Now, this guy's work, Paleo Tales, that's kind of it. So if any besides Dinosaurs for Hire, don't just flood my comments with Dinosaurs for Hire comments. I did my time on that book. But no, definitely comment what your favorite dinosaur book, if I didn't mention it. What's next? Next, we got just some classics. I can finally say I have the complete Yellow Bastard run for Frank Miller's Sin City. This is my favorite Sin City story. I hope people don't think less of me for that. I just love the theme of Hartigan, just a chiseled noir detective. That's one of my favorite subgenres, is the noir detective story of anything. And so I finally have all of Yellow Bastard, and that made me really happy. Some of my probably one of my favorite covers of all time in comics in general. Very iconic to me. Very, I discovered Frank Miller, pretty late in my art career, like maybe 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago at the, earliest or latest, however that works. And I'm not going to talk about him too much because probably everyone knows who the hell Frank Miller is. But if you don't know him, he is famous for Dark Knight, probably the famous and most sold Batman story of all time, 300, with the Spartans, Daredevil Born Again, Batman Year One. And Sin City, this amazing story. noir to the extreme, violent, gory, gritty. It's called Sin City for a reason. So if you're, and he's got some controversies, but we won't talk about that here. But if you're looking for a great, dark, gritty, rated R comic, Sin City. And I mean rated R. Don't be flipping through this next to your grandma. It ain't gonna work like that. But let's bust into the art. It's a black and white book, which I love. It's got these beautiful, I believe these are Lynn Varley painted covers, but the art is in black and white, and it's some of the best art I've ever seen. Like I don't mean to just jerk Frank Miller off, because thousands and thousands of people have done it, but I mean, when I saw this art, it really changed how I looked at art. I'm it moved me away from, oh, everyone's happy, and and it's like, no, we're all gonna be gritty. There's no happiness in these comics. It's the real world. So just stuff like that. But no, just great art and great compositional usage. I think that's a thing that doesn't get talked enough about in Sin City. The composition like that, I would never think to do, but yet I think it's very, very iconic to Sin City. It really changes how you read the book, and to me, it's very reminiscent of. I don't know if other people had this, but growing up, my mother collects antiques. So she has a lot of antique books where it'd be like the Grimm's fairy tales, and it'd be a picture of the big bad wolf and then the text on the side. It's really reminiscent of that to me. And, of course, it's hilarious because it's a brutal beatdown scene. If this was colored, the amount of red, oh, Todd McFarlane would cream his Canadian jeans. You know what I mean? But no, and it drawing the female figure and all the figures, in a black and white, I suck at trying to recreate some of these things, but I think it's incredible. You know, he got a lot of mileage out of just two colors, black and white. So if you want to make a black and white book, you got to look at Sin City. There is no question past that. Granted, I totally respect people who, if they have a personal stance against Frank Miller for some of the crazy crap he did earlier, I fully understand. I'm not saying he doesn't have his faults. I do think he's cleaned up his act a lot. Although I don't like people hating on his new work. They're like, oh, it looks horrible. Yeah, it looks, not great, but he's like an 80-year-old man who had a stroke. He like shakes when he talks. At what point does it become elder abuse, people? That's got to be Sam from Sam and or Twitch from Sam and Twitch. There's no way that's not. Even that. Like I don't know. I forget when did this book come out. I don't know. Let's not get sidetracked on that. Well, just look at those two hands, right? You can tell those are two hands, but yet, you know, it's I don't know. He managed to do all these great shapes with just white, and he was a reductive artist, taking away. So definitely look at that. Like, there's going to be an Inktober where I'm going to just do 30 pieces like this. Maybe that'll be this year's. That'd be cool for the channel. Maybe we'll do one a week. I know my limits. But no, Sin City's great. It's a great, gritty story. Great, amazing art. If you love black and white art, definitely check it out. If you love noir stories, definitely check it out. Like I said, though, it is very, very, very much rated R. There's probably not a great Sin City book you can just read out in public without getting a couple weird eyes. Look at this perspective. When I don't know if I mentioned it, but he also does some amazing perspective pieces. This the cops in jail right now, and just look at this perspective. You're looking down on from the top of the cell, and there's nothing else. It's like he's in a void, and all he is in a cage. I think the art would really lose it if he did do a background. It'd look cluttered. I don't think it'd look good at all. And I think that's also why he didn't give Hardigan's face details, because I think it would draw you right there when with all this white, it does make you go around the panel and then go on to Hardigan. Hardigan. I don't know why I'm thinking cardigan. So you can learn a lot from this book, and there's some amazing deluxe editions. We'll definitely have to look at through this channel. That I have a couple. Those are a little pricey, like I think $80 each, maybe. I think I got one on sale, but no, not a cool art. And look, here is the yellow bastard. The only color in this book is the yellow bastard. Why? Well, I guess you're just going to have to read it. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's a phenomenal book. Definitely check it out. Check out the rest of his work. You know, there's Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, Sin City, The Babe Who Wore Red, The Big Fat Kill, Silent, or I guess it is just Silent Night. You know, check it out. You know, this is more of his art. And doesn't that look cool? Do it. Check it out, definitely. And then we had this cover, but this this issue has a lot of strippers in it, so I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube just yet. I'll wait till me and my co-host do our video on Heartburst, the Rick Veitch book, because that's got a lot of boobies in it, and I mean a lot of them, and also alien boobies. The last book, I know it was a shorter pull, but I can only spend so much money in a day, right? This book is probably in my top 5 covers of all time, that being BWS's or Barry Windsor Smith's Weapon X. Funny enough, the video right before this was our Barry Windsor Smith pickup video, and I can't, definitely go check out that video. That video's been doing amazing. Thank you guys for everyone who's watched it. I love Barry Windsor Smith. What's not to love? He's an amazing artist. He's an amazing figure artist. What do I mean by that? He just knows how to draw the human figure and all these complex poses, the foreshortening, right there. It doesn't look hard to do, but once you get into art and start learning the rules of it, that becomes almost impossible. Not impossible, but you start yelling at the paper to work. You know what I mean? But yet Barry Windsor Smith does these amazing pieces. Weapon X is the story of Wolverine becoming Wolverine, essentially. Why does he get the metal claws? So he gets abducted and a lot of it, like in this Star Wars healing pod from Back to Tank. And so Barry Windsor Smith just draws him, floating, which is hard to do. He draws him crumbled on the ground. Let's just look at it. Why am I not talking yet? This right here is my favorite panel in the entire series. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know why, this panel specifically, but it is my favorite panel. Just look at the figure. Look at the muscles he did, I believe, did he color it as well? He did color it. He did color this himself. So, like I said, you don't need another person to be your colorist if you know how to color, and you can learn how to color. Which he did. Like the blues mixing with the reds and the yellows of this is how they're controlling him. This Wolverine is basically a zombie through these books, until something happens. But I'm not gonna spoil it for you just yet. But no, this is incredible. you know, Putting him in the snow, figuring out how to draw that. He could have just drawn him fully standing, but yet it looks so much better. Contrapposto, that is an art term where you shift your weight onto one side and you see it here. And it looks amazing, in my opinion. Cutting off the arm right there, it works. Sometimes cutting off stuff doesn't work, it looks awkward. This panel looks so natural to me, and that's why it's my favorite, panel and probably in the entire series. Even having this tree right here, the same tree, here and here, but yet a close up, filling that composition, putting a tumbleweed right there, the lettering in, we can go on and on. And I think what I'm going to do for a shorter video is just dissect this panel. I think we're going to do like a panel a week or something where we just look at a really cool panel, in my opinion, dissect it, what works. Maybe we'll look at some stuff that doesn't work, but I don't like crapping on art. But no, like that, he fights a freaking bear in this issue. Wolverine fighting a bear naked. Like what's not to like about it? You know, the bear does look a little weird in my opinion, though. More like a lion, but a better bear than I could ever draw. You know, did he letter it? Letter. I think he might have lettered these bigger things, but the letter was it Jim Novak? Yep, Jim Novak might have just lettered the regular lettering stuff. But a phenomenal book. I was so extremely excited to find this book in the Marvel Comics Presents section. I don't have that many. Maybe I'm up to the halfway point of having this series now. So I get so excited when I find them in the wild. I that feeling's getting less and less because I'm up to, I think, maybe 3,000 comic books in my collection. So I'm running out of stuff to just find, that isn't just an expensive trade on sale on like Amazon. So finding books like these, it really makes me just want to go out every day. Like, ooh, I haven't been to this comic book store in 6 months. Ooh, I haven't been to this comic book store in a week. Let's see what we can find. Like, look at that panel. Like the shadowing mixing with that blue, beautiful. That's what makes it work. The coloring there, the figure there, hiding the figure, having some of the blades out the full time and some of them coming back in. It really builds on that. Like, this is the Frankenstein story. So definitely check it out if you like Weapon X. Definitely check it out if you like the art. Check out our previous video on BWS. Oh, is this when he starts going crazy? Oh yeah, this is when he like starts to just rage out. He kills one random guy, and then that color shift, right? The blues going straight to red, monochrome red. You know, do you, I wouldn't. It's incredible. We could talk about this book all day, but like I said, these are not deep dives into books. These are overviews. But definitely check out Weapon X for sure. And once I get all the issues, we'll start looking at them one by one because this might be in my top 10 books of all time too. It's for sure my favorite X-Men Wolverine book and one of the only X-Men Wolverine books I ever own. I don't really like Marvel too much besides great pieces like this. You know what I mean? But no. And now we're going back to a monitor screen where it's blue with the reds as their clothes. It works. It works really, really well. And like I said, it all comes down to knowing how to color. If you're going to color something, color it 10 different ways. Figure out what works, what doesn't. It takes 100 pages or 1,000 pages to get it right. So it'll take you 1,000 pages to get it right. We're not perfect. We're all working artists, but, one step at a time. And I guess the last thing I want to show you is the phenomenal back cover. It's a friggin' Mignola cover for the back cover. I love Mignola art. You know how much I love Mignola art. He was probably the artist who got me into comic book thinking as a profession. If it wasn't for him, I would be a dentist. So, for a lot of people, it's pretty good that I got into Mignola. And for some, it's not good that I got into Mignola. But I love Mignola. He's a phenomenal artist. Hellboy. I just want to show off the back cover. I kind of wish he would have done a Weapon X somewhere in it, because he did the Strange and the Dracula. I guess BWS did the front cover, so it only makes sense for Mignola to do the back. But I would love to see a Mignola Weapon X. Maybe that's a thing. Is that a thing? Let me know if there's like some story or just some art Mignola did of Weapon X. But no, that is the pickup video for I think this will be probably Wednesday's video. If you're new to the channel, we post every Friday for sure, and if we have time, we post on Wednesdays. So you're always going to get at least one video a week. How I'm thinking it's going to work is Fridays will be our bigger videos where we will do a deep dive, and they'll be 40 minutes to maybe an hour and a half. When I talk, I talk. I ramble, you know what I mean? Whereas Wednesdays are going to be set for like pickup days or just stuff like that. Smaller things that won't take up as much time. But don't be surprised if they do become a Friday video. We're we're reworking how we did the channel. But thanks for everyone who's watched it. If you found something you liked or found something interesting, please hit that subscribe bell, hit that notification, like the video. I, it, we have been pumping up our numbers so good lately. I think the BWS video I just did might hit 50 views. That's the most we have ever gone on this channel. It's doing great. Watch time's great on it. So thank you for everyone who's watched it. Thanks for everyone who's, subscribed, everyone returning to watch. It means the world to me. What books that I do in this video do you want me to do deep dives on first? Do you want me to full ham Weapon X? Do you want me to look at that Age of Reptiles? Maybe even open up that heavy metal? Probably not, though, because I don't want to rip that gorgeous cover. But, you know where to find me. You know where the channel is. You want to watch some comic book videos? Watch some comic book videos. From paper cuts included to you, make more art.